Good afternoon, everyone. Next Generation Weather Forecaster Joe Shaka here at StormChaserJS.com. We're going to be looking at Dorian today. Obviously, that is the main factor of a tropical impact over the next several days, and that will be down in Florida. But we will see heavy rain tonight in southern New England from tropical depression now, Aaron, as that main center of circulation heads out to sea. But moisture from Aaron will get stripped by the cold front and pushed up across southern New England this evening through tonight with 2 to 4 inches of rain through the overnight hours. So that's all I have to say on Aaron. But Dorian is becoming a major issue. It appears very likely. And here it is, right in through here. Here he is, coming on the northeast side of Puerto Rico this afternoon and tonight, and then getting really ramped up in the Bahamas. I am very worried, and you're going to see all that over the course of this video. So taking a look at the guidance for Dorian, you could see right here the initial, and then coming on the northeast side, moving northwest and bending off to the west-northwest. And when this bend happens, this is going to really intensify, folks. So people in the northeastern Bahamas and for the east coast of Florida, this is a real deal hurricane. No denying that, to say the least. But again, there's what the ensemble guidance says with the track through the next 5-6 days. The European, same thing. Northwest movement coming up the northeast side of Puerto Rico tonight, and then bending off to the west-northwest, and then getting to Florida by Labor Day weekend into the day on Sunday. Again, where will it landfall? It will be further south. It will be further north. Again, you can see there's quite a little bit of spread in the ensemble guidance, but the state of Florida and the Bahamas need to be taking action already, even though it is 5-6 days out. Action needs to be underway. Here is a GFS ensemble, same kind of thing, which is good. We have good model agreement on this overall track, but intensity and exact landfall location remains a little bit uncertain, of course, being 5 or so days out from impact. Now, looking at the Hurricane Wharf, this is a very good model. This is called the H-Wharf, the Hurricane Wharf. And let me get my pen here. So this is the latest forecast run of this model, and this is valid 11 a.m. Sunday, and this is where it has Dorian. Let me get a different color maybe to illustrate that, and try purple. So here is where it has Hurricane Dorian coming in here to the mid-east coast of Florida. This is 120 mile an hour sustained winds forecasted. So this is a solid Category 3 hurricane. If this is correct, you can see some of the wind forecasts along the coast there coming up to around 80 miles an hour by 11 a.m. Now, will this be right at a location? I can't say. Maybe it's down here. Maybe it is here. Maybe it's closer to Jacksonville. But anywhere in this area, it's got to be on lookout. But again, most of the guidance is in the central eastern part of the state, so I have a little bit higher confidence, and that's where I am taking my track with this. But this is a serious situation, to say the least. And then Sunday afternoon, it slowly crawls inland. You could see where it was Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m., it makes that trek inland. You can see sustained winds up if it's 100 miles an hour. These are sustained winds. These are the 2-minute average wind speeds. With wind gusts higher than that, looking at the 850 and 925 winds, you can easily see wind gusts 130 to 145 miles an hour with this thing, if this kind of forecast verifies from the H-Wharf. So you can see the sustained winds up again. The sustained winds up to around 100 miles an hour, and then easily 50 to 80 miles an hour inland. As this continues to trek on inland. And the European looks like this for its wind. This is the wind gust at 10 meters. You can see same kind of thing a little bit further south here, and northeast Bahamas into central Florida. And then we'll have to see what happens early next week as this tries to reemerge. And we're going to go over the upper level pattern, because this could also be interesting, because it may try to come back in, make a second landfall in the state of Florida early next week. So this is really interesting upper level pattern, which the models are not going to perfectly score, being almost a week out. And we're going to look at that in detail right here. So this is the latest run of the European. This is Saturday afternoon with its 588 areas, with its blue blobbers. That's where Dorian is expected to be in the ensemble from the model. You can see this large upper scale ridging here to the north. And also I want you to note, back here in the plains, there is a upper level trough. It's time to dig. Now this is an ensemble, a member, 51 members all combined. So all 51 members are part of this forecast. So what you have is you got a big ridge. You have the storm moving west-northwestward under that ridge. And you have a weakness here trying to develop. So this is valid Saturday. And if we go out to Sunday, what it looks like here is, again, you got that large ridge here. Here's Dorian coming onto the coast. Here's somewhat of a hint of that trough somewhere in through there. Now, the question is, will this ridge be weaker and Dorian comes further north, or will this ridge be stronger and continue that westward track like the European has operationally, which was back here a couple frames ago. So if this here kind of thing were to develop and this trough would be bigger, then Dorian can cross the state, get off the Tampa coast, and then with this trough digging in, pick it up and make a second landfall in the Big Bend of Florida, and then who knows what happens after that. Impacts to more of the southeast with heavy rain and wind thereafter. So that's going to be very, very interesting to watch, to see how the steering involves the future track of Dorian, so you can see some of the possibilities that I outlined there. Now, this was yesterday's 500 millibar forecast, so this was this morning's. This was yesterday's afternoon, and you can see somewhat of a stronger trough that I see digging in there. So this is a little bit flatter, while the latest run was a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can see that, but I could certainly see it in my telestration. And you can notice that the ridge, you can see where the ridge line is here, and this line, it's a little bit further south, several tens of miles further south, the extent of that ridge, which is driving this system west. So that would be very interesting to watch if that ridge over here continues to build off to the southwest as Dorian comes in from the east and pushes it further south, maybe into the more southern part of the state than the central part of the state. So, and again, there's that somewhat of a trough that if it can get out here and survive, it redevelops and then tries to come back northeast for a second landfall in the Big Bend of Florida by next Monday, Tuesday, approximately at this time. And you'll see that in the ensembles quite nicely. Here's the GFS ensemble. This is this morning's right. You can see same kind of thing. You got the big ridge to the north and east of it. You have somewhat of a trough coming through here on Sunday afternoon. Here is Dorian off the Florida coast, if not inland by then. Then the 0Z run looked like this. So this is the latest. Here's the previous run. Same kind of thing. You have the trough, you got the ridge, and you got the storm. So very, very interesting to see that trough evolution and how far southwestward this ridge does extend to influence the track of Dorian, and how strong Dorian could be. If it's a stronger system, maybe it could still get pulled north. It breaks down this ridge, or maybe it starts to feel this trough more. This trough is deeper, so there's a lot of steering things that could go on with this that could certainly alter who exactly is going to deal with the worst part of this. But again, if you live in the eastern part of the state of Florida, you need to be taking action right now, because this will impact the eastern state of Florida, pretty much a guarantee at this point. Now, with all that model guidance said and some other model guidance that I've reviewed, but I don't want to make this video too long, here is my official track for Dorian as of now. It's already at 60 knots. It's already a 70 mile per hour tropical storm. This evening I have it 70 knots, 80 miles an hour. Tomorrow night I get it to 80 knots. Friday night 90 knots. Saturday night this should be a major hurricane coming into the northeastern Bahamas, 115 mile an hour storm. And then midday landfall, 110 knots in the central part of the eastern part of Florida. Possibly a Category 4 coming in there. I cannot rule that out. Absolutely cannot rule out a Category 4 coming into somewhere to the eastern part of the state of Florida Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And then again, we'll see what happens as it emerges. I didn't want to put a track on there, given there is so much uncertainty there in the ensemble. So I decided to leave it there Sunday night in the central part of Florida. But if you live on the eastern part of Florida or in the northeastern Bahamas, it is time to do the hurricane preparations that are needed for a major hurricane to impact you later on this weekend. That is it for now, and thank you for watching.